A son who uncovered his father's World War II military service learned some important life lessons about discrimination and determination.
CBS 8's Abby Black shares the efforts to preserve their history as Mexican Americans in the United States military.
Charles Nogales' family immigrated from Mexico. They grew up poor in the mountains of New Mexico, but he learned their service to our country is rich in history. A family of 7 brothers and nephews who lived under the same roof all signed up or drafted during World War II.
These soldiers all experienced frontline horror.
The Nogales Flores men were deployed across the world, fighting in some of the most destructive battles in and above the Atlantic to the Arctic Oceans, France and Germany to the invasion of the Philippines. Yet, because of their Mexican-American heritage, they were told no several times in the military.
The consensus was in the Army was that if you were Mexican, American, or Mexican, that you didn't have the intelligence or the leadership skills to be an officer.
Richard Nogales shares the stories that he's uncovered over the years. During World War II, he says his cousin Ramon Flores later became a lieutenant for the Army Air Force and flew 35 missions over Germany.
My cousin was one determined young man.
Richard Nogales shared these 2 photos of his uncle Frank Nogales.
And they literally whited out his face to make him look more white.
Nogales was assigned to an Army tank destroyer and landed in Normandy right after D-Day.
You're going to see the most horrible conditions in the world. We're going to have to change the way you look because we don't want such dark-skinned people in our yearbooks.
But the discrimination did not defeat the Nogales and Flores family, who proudly served their country.
They fought for their country, but I think they fought as much for their new families.
Nogales says it took years after finding some of his father's medals, including a Purple Heart, to talk about World War II.
The feeling that when he walked into the aircraft, that he was walking into his coffin.
His father, Cruz Nogales, was a radio operator for the Army Air Force 493rd Bomb Group in France and Germany. He spent 3 weeks in the hospital, reunited with his crew after he was hit with a flak shell.
He could not disappoint his brothers.
On the front lines, he didn't show it, but Nogales says that he could read the pain in his father's letters.
At some point, I think he believed that he was going to die on those missions, and yet he still did it because of his brothers.
Nogales says that he's a history buff, and he thought he knew about World War II from books and movies.
History is not about D-Day and defeating the Germans in northern France.
Nogales says it was the letters, National Archives, Facebook groups, and conversations with his father and his family members where he grew a deeper pride for his Mexican-American heritage and their service in the United States military.
It's about the personal stories that not only them, but the families, and afterwards, their adjustment.
And their perseverance.
But there were some determined young men. They would not be told no.
And these brothers and nephews have more than these medals to prove their commitment to their country.
I credit that for my grandparents, that they instilled with them a certain confidence and that they were important.
Abby Black, CBS 8.